Welcome to the Four Corners 912 project discussion on rules of the game. For a country to exist peaceably as a unified people in the game of life, we all must be playing by the same rule. The rules for our country were established in the Constitution that was agreed upon to abide by. This was and is the supreme law of the land.
To follow the rules, you must know what they are. They are few and clear. We hope to help you all to better understand what the rules are, as we are looking to elect new representatives in local and state government offices next year.
They take an oath to uphold the constitutions of both the state and the United States.
What are they to uphold and protect?
We will begin this regular discussion beginning with the Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution.
Good morning. Welcome back to the Four Corners 912 Rules of the Game. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about our legislature, which is now in session. As I think a couple of people have said, legislature's here, watch your wallet. And if you shake one of the legislators' hands, count your fingers. Here they're coming after us. We have a whole bunch of bills already dumped in the hopper, and we kind of sorted through a few of them that might be of interest and concern to a lot of our people. And of the big long list, even the ones we picked out, they've got about 5 or 6 maybe we'll just kind of hit a little more highlights on and go from there. Bud, which ones have you got you want to discuss out here to give the people a little highlight on?
Yeah, and we'll be showing them on the screen here in just a minute or two. The ones we picked out, most of them that we picked out have constitutional impacts, and so back when we first started this thing, we dealt with the Bill of Rights to the federal Constitution and the Bill of Rights to the Colorado Constitution. All esoteric and way up in the clouds. Here's why. Because this is legislation which has constitutional impacts. So you got to know what the Constitution says so that you can analyze these bills in that aspect.
So what we're saying is we come up with all these new bills, laws, or whatever you want to call them. They really are looking, it seems like today, more often than not, we have a law in effect, and we say, well, I would really like it to apply more to him than me. I would really like it to define more clearly what he should be doing, how we want to structure our society rather than allowing us our liberty to live our society and keeping us from infringing on each other. Let's tell everybody how to act, and no problem. Restructuring our society.
We want to be able to use, rather than just go to your neighbor and deal with it, let's use the power of government to force my neighbor to do what I want him to do. Right. Because my neighbor must satisfy me, and I would like to use the power of law to get him to do it. So we're seeing a lot of that. And in fact, one of these bills, the first one that we're going to talk about, deals with that very thing, kind of nebulously maybe, but this House Bill 20-1033 is called the Live and Let Live Act. And think back to the Masterpiece Bake Shop, where this artist, he calls himself an artist, and I guess his stuff's okay, but he refused to make a wedding cake for a homosexual couple. And it eventually went before the Colorado Human Rights Commission or whatever that was called, and they said he didn't have the right to refuse and fined him what was it, hundred and some odd $1,000 they fined him. Anyway, the Supreme Court said Colorado screwed up. The commission was biased. And so the Live and Let Live Act addresses that situation to protect from the government your religious freedom. And again, referring back to the constitutional amendments that we dealt with, the Bill of Rights, First Amendment, freedom of religion clause, and also in the Colorado Bill of Rights, which is Section 2, some 28 or 29 statements there. So somebody at least is paying attention to actually using the law to conform with the Constitution. Now, when you look at these bills that we'll scroll here in just a second, you'll see asterisks there. The red asterisk means that the bill went to the Kill Committee. And so this Live and Let Live Act goes to the Kill Committee. So in the House and the Senate, in the state legislature, is the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee. It's also known as the Kill Committee. If the Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate doesn't like the bill, he assigns it to that committee with instructions to kill. And they'll either postpone indefinitely, that's a good little thing that they use, or here's another little trick they use. They will reschedule a hearing. And let's say the legislative session ends May the 10th, thereabouts. So just picking a day, May the 10th. They will reschedule a hearing for May the 12th. Well, ain't nobody there. That's another little parliamentary trick they like to use. Well, anyway, that's...
Just a comment on that Veterans Affairs, the Kill Committee.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is always, until I learned what it was all about, is I was always questioned, just like this bill, this 1033. It has to do with a business being able to express their liberty and running their business as they see fit.
Correct.
With their own rights of life and liberty and their First Amendment.
Mm-hmm.
What is that doing going to the Veterans Affairs Committee? What does that have to do with Veterans Affairs? You know, I think, what in the world? And so then I learned it has nothing to do with them. They're not interested in it, so we send it to them, and it dies.
And it dies.
That's just exactly how it works.
And, you know, how in the world you can be opposed to these kinds of bills, and we'll go through them, how you can be opposed boggles my mind. When you read the amendments that we went through when we first started these sessions, and then look at these bills and still oppose them. How? You took an oath, right? It just, the way some of these legislators think, well, they don't think.
Well, the issue kind of comes up is we always like to think that they go to have a bill sent to our legislature, and it goes through every bill goes through the legislature, and everybody gets to examine it and say, yeah, that's good, or no, that's bad. But what actually happens is very few of them ever make it past things like the Kill Committee.
That's right.
They don't get out of committee. They don't get heard. The whole group doesn't hear them at all.
In Colorado, every bill must be heard in committee. The Speaker of the House or the President of the Senate cannot just throw it in the trash can. Mm-hmm. It must go to a committee for a hearing. And so they came up and devised this Kill Committee. Yeah, we held our hearing, we satisfied state law, and we voted it down.
Our congressman, or our legislator, is not one on the Kill Committee. So we call him and we say, please take care of this, help us pass this.
Mm-hmm.
He's not on that committee. He never sees it.
Never sees it. Nope.
Okay.
Well, he'll probably see it on the list of bills, just like we're seeing it.
But he doesn't.
They'll have that, but he's got no impact.
No impact,
None at all.
Well, let's move along.
Okay, so Jedekiah, if you want to switch over to this list that we got, and we'll kind of go down through it as we give the folks time to read the thing and see how it's going there. And of course, right at the top there for your personal involvement if you want to. Okay. The next one that caught my attention was local government. This is the title of the bill, HB 20-1070. Local government is liable for fracking, ban on oil and gas moratorium. You want to take a stab at that one?
Well, that's of course that's obviously a offshoot or being proposed because of what happened last year, and when they tried to kill our oil industry by putting regulations such that by default putting them out of business.
Yep.
And so this is an effort to get control back. And we had recent, I think it's Boulder, trying to ban fracking in their county.
And
the city.
Broomfield County.
And
Yep.
so where does that fit into our Constitution? Does it have a constitutional impact? Yeah. The impact is maybe the people don't realize that you own oil rights, mineral rights, under property that is property.
Right.
It's real property, just like a piece of dirt. It's real property you own. So you own a property right of mineral and oil or gas. You have a right to use your property, protect it, and use it. They said, no, you can't. You can't. You can't get to it because we don't like the idea of fracking.
Yeah, part of that law, I mean, you had all those restrictions that were well publicized. Something that wasn't quite so well publicized was, and this was one of the governor's ideas, was to give local jurisdiction the authority to do oil, fracking and drilling bans. So you could have a town, okay, ban, and I think it was Longmont. Said, yeah, we don't want any drilling or fracking going on within the city limits.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was part of that whole bill there. Now, again, right back to the constitutions. They will do this and violate the due process clauses and the takings. You are taking private property.
Mm-hmm.
Mineral rights are a property right, and so they're denying you the use of your property for your own purposes.
One of the things that really bothered me was last year that the bill really was giving authority to the local governing bodies,
Mm-hmm.
the county, is good. They need to have more authority, but in doing so, they have to do like you just said. Are they going to abide by the constitutional rights?
That's right.
They can't just throw out the Constitution, change everything because now I have authority to do it.
When I read this last year, when I read the bill, this thought occurred to me. So let the folks think on this for a minute. You have whether it was Longmont or not, I can't remember for sure, but let's say that it was Longmont and they said no more drilling or fracking within the city limits. What they're saying is They do not want to use the natural resources, the raw resources. They don't want it to be accessed within their city limits. So if they're saying that, are they not also saying they don't want to use the end product that's produced, such as natural gas and electricity that's delivered to their home? And so I wrote to these two gentlemen right there on your screen there. Put that back up there, Jedekiah. So I wrote to them and said, amend the bill and give Xcel Energy and Atmos Energy, gas company the authority to shut the valve off at the city limits. You don't want to produce it, you must not want to use it.
Isn't that called quid pro quo?
I think, ooh, nice word. I think that probably will not get in the bill. Let me advance this down here a little bit. Where are we? Get the next few up there so the folks can read them. Okay. This one's simple. We didn't need to delve into this. 1099, repealing the magazine capacity limits. Mm-hmm. You know, 10 rounds or 7 rounds or whatever it was. 15, because it was 15 rounds because our former representative from over in Durango was really proud that he got it raised. The original bill said 10 rounds, and he got it raised to 15, and therefore it was a good bill. Second Amendment here, fella. Well, I won't mention his name because he's not there anymore. But his wife is, so you can look that up.
That bill, it was like people like us. That's great. Let's have it passed. But you'll notice if you look at your in the screen, you'll notice that little red asterisk by it.
Oh,
where it went.
Where did it go?
It went to the Kill Committee, so the chances of that ever passing is pretty remote.
It's done.
Yep.
It's done.
The next one was, or is?
Yep, 1068, the born alive child-physician relationship. And you notice, again, in the bill, in the Kill Committee. Now, does it have a constitutional impact? Really nebulous. I mean, you can go back to the life, liberty, and property clause.
The right to life.
Right to life, you know, and there's a raging argument over whether that applies to the preborn. Well, I think it does. But anyway, that aside, it says that a doctor must treat, if a baby survives the abortion and is a living and breathing human being, the doctor must treat that child as he would any other patient.
Right.
Well, duh.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there's a reason for this bill, because they don't.
New York.
Exactly right.
I'm going to scroll again there, Jedekiah. Where am I at here? 1068. Yeah, right there. Right there. Yeah, and they big applause in the state legislature when they New York and Virginia.
Yeah.
The governor of Virginia says, we will make the baby comfortable while the mother decides what to do. Sorry, mother, you already decided what to do. You decided to get pregnant. Hey, some of this stuff drives me nuts. Yep. Which some would say is not really a drive, it's just a putt.
Now, the key things to me in that bill was, in the summary there, they talked about as you said, it simply establishes the physician-patient relationship between a child born alive after or during an abortion and the physician who performed or attempted to perform the abortion. Then you skip down, talk about, it says, perform diligence to preserve the life and health of the child.
Right.
That's what it's all about.
Why is that in the kill committee?
Good question. Well, the next bill actually deals again with that.
Yep, it does. There's and these bills are introduced every year. Now, the Born Alive bill, that 1068 we were just talking about, I think that's a little bit newer language, but there's always these two pro-life bills introduced every year by the same people. Mm-hmm. And they are. Now, why protect human life at conception is not going to the kill committee? Did you notice that?
I noticed that. I found that amazing.
I wonder if the speaker kind of messed up a little bit.
I looked at that and I says, something's wrong here.
Yeah.
Why did the kids kill one and not the other one? But I'm glad to see that they didn't.
I am too.
It'll be interesting to watch and see what happens.
See how that debate goes.
Because this one is even more pronounced. This essentially, as I read it, that bill is banning abortion.
Absolutely.
Except in the case of the health of the mother and or the child, or in the treatment of medical, like in cancer, if it was accidental death.
Yeah. Yeah. If you are trying to preserve the life of the mother, the life of the pregnant mother, and the baby dies as a result, that's excluded.
But otherwise, planned abortions are banned.
Planned abortions are out the window.
And that did not go to the kill committee.
I don't understand that.
Let's hope it makes it all
Let's
the way
hope it
through.
makes it. I think the debate will be very interesting.
It will be.
We'll see how some of these people really think about life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. And again, like I said at the beginning, tying it back to the Constitution. Mm-hmm. That's our rules of the game. That's what we concentrate on, or try as best we can.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a right to life or not?
Do you or don't you? Exactly right. Good point.
Did your mom, if she made a decision not to, where would you be today in passing these bills?
You want to hit up again there, Jedekiah? Let me see where we are here.
Should be down to 1098, I think.
1098.
There's another one of interest.
Yep. There's the ammunition ban. And the other thing about this 1075, any federal law, rule, treaty, or judgment to the contrary will be null and void in the state of Colorado. So the Supreme Court can say whatever they want, like Roe versus Wade, will be nullified in Colorado. Mm-hmm. Now that ought to be an interesting debate in the committee. Yeah. But again, it would protect the due process for the baby. Now, we don't like to use the term baby. We like to use the term fetus, which is a Latin term that translates what? Baby.
How do you spell that?
B-A-B-Y. Okay.
1098.
1098.
That was another one on abortion.
Uh-huh.
And this one, another one. If you noticed, out of these three, 1068, 1075, and now 1098, all three of them have to do with abortion.
I do.
And this again went to the Kill Committee.
To the Kill Committee.
So one out of the three did not. This one here, and all this one does is very similar. It is abortion is prohibited after 22 weeks.
Yes.
That's roughly 5 months.
Right.
And
It's called the period of viability is the term they like to use. So, could the baby be born, placed in an incubator, whatever, and so forth, until it, and I mean, there have been some awfully young births that are now quite viable adults.
Yep.
Well, let me scroll this down a little bit more. Where am I at here? Yeah. So, well, I took care of the ones that we really wanted to focus on. So, you want to go back up to the top of the scroll and see how we can work our way down through a couple of them?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We've been 20 minutes. What we've been at here is I want to bore the people, but
out of the House and the Senate, and this is as of last Friday, and I checked again Wednesday night, and nothing had changed. The House had introduced 163 bills, at least 19 of which dealt with children or schools. And in the Senate, 113 bills have been introduced, and at least 17 deal with school or childhood issues. So some of them I didn't read, but the ones I did read the legislature is more and more trying to take total control of family and issues like that. Now there is a bill here. It's aimed at protecting what has been called free-range parenting.
okay.
You heard of that?
Yeah, yep.
There's a couple of bills that, oh boy. Probably not going to be able to find it like I would like to. But anyway, it would protect the parents from prosecution or persecution because they use the so-called free-range parenting. Now, you know what free-range parenting is? Do you remember being 10 years old and going out on the farm and doing whatever you blessed well pleased all day long?
I remember riding in the back of the truck without my seatbelt on. I remember riding my bicycle without my helmet on.
Yep.
And I remember getting some pretty good whippings.
Mama feed you breakfast, kick you out the door, and lock it.
And I survived.
Don't come home till the sun goes down.
I think that's a bill, House Bill 1144.
1144.
Parents' Bill of Rights.
Yeah.
That's the one. And also 1147. Reasonable independence for children and activities.
That's the one. That's the one. Yeah. Reason. And, I mean, there have been cases brought, like up there, again, wonderful and outstanding New York. If you move more than 10 feet away from the swing set, that was called child neglect because you weren't hovering over your child to make sure he didn't get a bruised thumbnail. I mean, it's just nuts.
I noticed the Parents' Bill of Rights went sent to the Kill Committee.
No kidding.
Can't believe that.
No.
The state has to maintain control of your kid, not
Yep.
you.
Yep. I want to look at 20-1008, healthcare cost-sharing consumer protections.
Mm.
Now, my view is that that's aimed at this outfit called MediShare,
Yeah, yeah.
and others. They're not the only ones. Mm-hmm. And okay, do they need oversight? Maybe yes, maybe no. But look at what I put in red.
Membership.
Membership. Huh? It is a society of free association. None of the government's business who freely associates. Right? I think we call that the right to assemble.
Right to assemble.
The First Amendment.
And my liberty along with it.
Yeah. Yep. It is not an insurance company. These outfits are a bunch of people that are sharing the burden of living, or in some cases the burden of dying, because you were dealing with medical issues, right? There's a guy in Kansas that has a little co-op kind of a deal going on. You pay him a monthly fee, and he takes care of you. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There you go. Right there.
It works, and it works.
And it works.
Yeah.
It works. Now here's a creepy one. Let me see it. Is that up here? Yeah. 1060. Look at 1060. Natural organic reduction of human remains. That is composting dead people.
Well,
is that creepy or what?
Don't you remember John Denver's song? I'll be out pushing up tomatoes. That's the way. Hey. Yep, out there pushing up tomatoes. No different.
Yeah, let me. Where were we on this scrolling thing? I need to get down here so the folks can see some more of this here stuff. Okay, we did that. We did that.
While you're looking that up, there's another one we don't have on our list, but just more recent just came out that I noticed. House Bill 1142.
1142?
And that is, you don't have it.
Oh, okay.
Because it just came up. And I saw some comments on it, and that is a bill to establish a state-run enterprise operating off of insurance taxes. Did you have it down there? You did have it on there.
Right there on my list, Dexter.
Oh, yeah. There it is. Hazard mitigation. Hazard mitigation grant program.
Yeah.
Establishes fees, and it circumvents Tabor.
Circumvents Tabor.
And it's paid for by insurance, just 0.5%, 0.05 of a percent on insurance. The insurance company pays for it.
Yeah.
Except that who pays insurance? Your insurance pays for
on
it.
that for a minute.
But it's only for selected companies.
But here's the deal. We are taxing, you call it a fee or an enterprise all you want, it's a tax on the insurance company to mitigate hazardous waste in which they may have had no involvement.
True story.
So we're taxing these people to fix what these people did.
Exactly right.
Another targeted tax is absolutely nuts.
They're kind of aiming it at fire prevention is what they're aiming it at. But to enable people to get the county could get grants.
Mm-hmm.
This is money to be the money to back up the grant.
To do the Firewise type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what, but it covers all the time, not just fires. It doesn't specifically for fires.
You know what we used to do? If you didn't want your house to burn down, you took care of it.
You did it.
You did it.
You didn't expect the government to take care of it.
You didn't run up to the county courthouse and ask for bailout.
But your insurance that qualifies to charge you for insurance so they can pay into the fund
Mm-hmm.
is any insurance that provides insurance for fire, allied lines, multiple peril crop insurance, private crop insurance, private flood insurance, farmers multiple peril insurance, homeowners multiple peril insurance, commercial multiple peril insurance, earthquake insurance. Fortunately, in Montezuma County, we don't have any faults, so we're okay. But we probably have the insurance, though. Combined private passenger auto insurance, aircraft insurance. So I think we're all paying something on several of those.
Yeah.
So we're all going to pay.
Yep.
You know, we're going to have to call this quits. You know, I'd like to encourage people. I think what we ought to do is post this list on our website so you can go back and refer to it. So it'll be on our website. You can access that and look at it in more detail. But also with that, and we'll try to be sure we have it on our website, go into the state, look at the bills.
Yeah.
What's their,
Go right back up to the top here.
does that have their ad?
Yeah. Got the address right up there.
Okay.
Right up the top there. And if you want, I can just post this to the website as in this format.
Yeah, let's just do that.
This format.
Just
Okay.
like that.
Might even be able to put that on the Facebook page too.
Yeah, we can do that. We can just transfer it over.
Maybe our videographer could embed a link down at the bottom of the screen.
Try that. But
I don't know. Is he that good?
I bet he is.
I'll bet he is.
The one on the top there?
Huh?
Was it the one on the top?
Yeah, the one the legislative website.
Council? Yeah.
Yeah. Can
go
you
into-
embed that on the bottom of the screen?
You can go into their site, look up any bill you want. You can scroll through all of them.
Yep.
It'll drive you nuts, but scroll through all those bills, hit something that you're of interest to you, because we may not hit the ones you're concerned about.
That's right.
Then you can go in to that bill and you can read exactly what it says. And we've been talking about them here. This last one I was just talking about, good night, it's 13 pages long. So what I said was one of 13 pages. So
And when you do go on these, when you're just scrolling down there, and there will be 25 bills per page, and you will be able to begin to read a summary of the bill that's put out by the Legislative Council. And if you click on the bill, then you can read their full analysis. And I have found, by and large, the Legislative Council does a fair job of summarizing what the bill intends to do. And of course, you can read the full legislative language. If you're crazy like I am, that's what you'll do. But some of the language is confusing. But again, the summary of the bill that you'll see on that page, it's not bad. It'll give you a flavor for what the legislature's trying to do.
right. And then you know if you want to go on or not.
And then if you want to read beyond that, you click on the bill and read the full thing.
Yeah, we all have different concerns and depths of concern.
Correct.
And
that's
we
a good
encourage
thing.
them. Yeah, it is.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, we have to have disagreement, otherwise it's a boring world.
Well, if everybody agreed with me,
God, it would have been a mess.
There's a lot of redundancy there, isn't it?
I would like.
If you agree with me, one of us is unnecessary.
True story. Which one? I would encourage you to go ahead and look up the bills yourselves. And this site, they have made it very user friendly. If you're
It is.
halfway techie at all, and I can go in there and I can read it.
Even you do it?
Even I can do it.
Yeehaw.
It took me a little while. I had to make a phone call. But no, seriously, you guys look them up, do them for yourselves. Don't rely on Bud coming in every week and saying,
Yeah.
this is what it is.
The website does not require any more effort than any other website you might visit.
No.
You have to learn how to use what's there, and you have to try to think like the guy what wrote it. He doesn't think like you do.
Right.
He thinks like he does.
But it's if I can do it, you can do it.
That's right.
And I'd encourage you to do
I
it.
had to learn the same way you did.
And yours quicker. We need to bring this to a close. We want to thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions or things you'd like us to cover that we haven't, please feel free to send a message, and we will do our best to give you our thoughts on it and go from there. But I want to take this time before we close out, be sure and want to thank our sponsors, Don Brunson with the Woodman Life and White Eagle Television Service. They're both so appreciative of you guys to being supporting us. Thank you.
We're out.